Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, I want to talk to you about 4 points that you should consider related to language gaming. If you're considering whether gaming to learn a foreign language might be right for you, or if maybe you're a teacher, parent, someone in a leadership or a teaching role, you're considering if games for language learning would be good for your students or children or whatever, then this video is for you. I have some reflections based on a lot of feedback that I've gotten over the years, but even some more recently because we've been doing a lot of online gaming. So I've been getting great feedback from people, and I always encourage open and honest feedback. I like to get into a dialogue or get into a conversation with people to try and learn more. And a lot of great information comes out, so let's jump right in. One of the first and most common things people will say is, I feel like if I just had a dedicated study session alone by myself, then I could learn much more than I could playing a game with other people. Okay, and that makes sense, but it's kind of like saying you don't think that games can replace more traditional modes of learning. And I think that's not what anybody is really trying to say when they talk about language gaming. Language gaming, I think generally speaking, it should be viewed as an enrichment tool. Nobody is saying that it should be used all the time. Now, of course, how much time you spend learning in more traditional ways versus how much time you spend learning through games, I think it's going to depend on A, what type of person you are, and B, what your motivations are. I mean, if you really have to pass an exam or get certified, maybe you're going to need a lot more hours of dedicated study time alone or something like that. If you're someone who's just learning it as kind of like one of many hobbies in your free time just for fun and you want to meet people, well, then you could just play language learning games all the time and it wouldn't really matter, right? But I think to come back, again, generally speaking, the way that we should view the language learning games is as enrichment tools. So we build them in from time to time into our more traditional modes of study as a way to spice things up, mix things up. So keep doing your classes, keep doing your individualized study time, and when you need a break, when you need something fresh and fun to do, that's when you inject the games. Number 2, group composition. It matters a lot. This is something you should consider. What are the ages of the players? What are the skill levels of the players? In our case, sometimes we play mixed language games, so that means the players are actually trying to study and practice different target languages. So the players' native languages and target languages will matter as well. Now, none of those things are really good or bad. They all have their pros and cons, and the pros and cons for you are going to be different for you depending on what your motivation is. So to summarize a very big issue, I would say, play with those parameters. Dial in the parameters that would help you to reach your goals. If it would help you to play with people the same age, then try to play with people the same age. If it would help you to play with people who are at the same skill level, or maybe same skill level or above, seek those people out, invite them to a game with you. Don't have a gaming experience and then say, oh, this didn't work because the people were these ages and the people were these skill levels, so obviously, language gaming can't work, it doesn't work. No, just adjust the parameters to be more to your liking. Some people are a lot more flexible and open when it comes to playing with different ages and different skill levels. They see the value of it. I'm sort of like that. Maybe it's because, I recognize in a deep sense that I am both a student and I'm also a teacher in some respects. It depends who I'm playing with. So if I'm playing with younger people or people who have a lower skill level than me, I flip into teaching more. I can still learn from them. Everybody knows something, but I practice my teaching and explanation skills more. When I'm when I am the younger one or the less experienced one, I try to learn more from the most experienced people in the room. But long story short, group composition, that's something that you can play with, you can adjust for greater success and greater fun. Number 3, the size of the group matters. This is something I've realized more profoundly as we've played more and more online games, because I'm trying to recruit players to fill the table, and I realized that filling the table with 5 or 6 people, well, it means that people have to wait longer until they can have their turn. Some people don't like that as much because it means they have less chances to practice speaking their foreign language. So again, this is something that you might want to keep in mind. Also, if you have a big group, people are going to have to spend more time listening. People have different degrees of ability to listen and pay attention for different lengths of time. So if they have to wait a long time to be able to take their turn and say something, they might sort of get listless, they might disengage, unplug, not really pay attention. So that might not be really good for their learning. Now, I think active listening and having a good attention span is something that's really important, and it needs to be cultivated. A lot of people don't have long attention spans today. Probably most people already left this video because they can't pay attention for more than 30 seconds. So I think to cultivate listening and paying attention to other people who are sharing something that matters to them during the game is important. And if you pay attention to other people, you're going to learn something. And you could even ask them a question to learn more. But I realize that some people, especially younger people, or people who really want to practice their speaking, maybe they're going to want to have less people at the table so they can have more chances to speak. So you might want to have like one host or one teacher plus like maybe 3 players. So there's like 4 people at the table. That could be really good to give everybody more chances to speak. If you start to have 5, 6, or more than 6, well, then you're going to have much less chances to speak. You're going to have to wait a long time for your turn. Okay, and number 4, this is an interesting piece of feedback that I get less commonly, but it does come up from time to time. People will come out to play with us, and then they'll say, you know, I was expecting something a little bit different. I was expecting that we were going to play using our target language all the time. In other words, we would never use our native language, which is usually English. They were thinking we would not use English at all. So we would play this game together, and we would have this immersive experience where we only use the target language all the time, and even the game cards themselves would only have the target language on it. So it's like we totally leave English behind. We cast off these English crutches or this English safety net, and we are swimming completely in the target language. I think that is a great variation of a way to play. I think it's also going to be most useful for people who are maybe at an intermediate stage or beyond. A lot of the people that we game with are actually beginners, casual gamers, and for them to have English involved, or whatever the native language is involved, that creates a helpful scaffolding that makes them feel more comfortable. So when we play online, for example, the game is usually explained in English, the cards are in English, and when the people have conversation around the game or they're trying to explain something they don't understand, they might use English. But when it's time for them to create or deliver or produce their answer or their idea, they're then trying to use their target language. So the English is there for scaffolding, is there to make people feel more comfortable. So again, the level of native language involved in the game, be that English or whatever other language, that is another parameter that you can adjust. That's another parameter that are going to make people feel more or less happy, like this thing that we're doing is more or less effective. Higher level people are probably going to want to just be using that target language as they play. They're going to want to be speaking and joking to the other people using it. They're going to want to be sharing some stories using it. and they're going to want to rely on their native language less. So totally understandable. Well, I hope you enjoyed these 4 points today. I hope this helps you to get more value out of your language gaming experiences. And if you want to come out to join us, you definitely can. We're playing online for free every Saturday. You can check out the upcoming schedule and sign up at languagecardgames.com. Happy language gaming. I'll see you back here next time.